Well, Connor, welcome everyone to game 48 of the Real Racquetball Show. Appreciate you joining us. And you probably noticed from the screen that our normal co-host, Maurice Miller, was not able to join us this evening. Something came up, and we hope him all the best. But Connor Shane, Director of National Events with USA Racquetball, is going to come on and co-host. So, Connor, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm happy to fill in. How's everything going?
It's going great.
Good.
Very busy, a lot of things going on right now.
Very busy. Yes.
Working on a lot of different aspects. As everybody knows, this is normally the slow time of the season. It's when we do a lot of work and a lot of outdoor leagues and tournaments and activities are going on. So that part of USA Racquetball has grown quite a bit. And I spent this last week at a conference kind of selling USA Racquetball to sponsors and different vendors and those type of things. And one of the things I kept telling everybody was COVID changed the way our sport plays a little bit. And I'm sure you're seeing that with all the contacts with sponsors and such, that there's a lot more outdoor racquetball going on right now. And a lot of people are really excited about it. So
yeah, it's awesome. I love the spike from it. And even, all the work that the Outdoor Racquetball and War put into outdoor racquetball is fantastic. I love watching more people playing outdoor too.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. We got some really special guests, some neat individuals everybody's going to want to hear from. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the U.S. Open. We're going to take questions. If anybody has a question they have on their mind about the Open, we are here to answer those questions. Connor's spending probably 90% of his time working on the U.S. Open. The rest of it, he tries to get a little bit of sleep.
Yeah, we'll be missing that metric a little bit too. But yeah, the Open is pretty much all hands on deck, and all our engines are firing on this one.
Yeah, fantastic. So we'll get to that here in a bit. But before that, we have a real racquetball champion we want to introduce. It's been a little while since we've had one. We're still looking for people. If you have a nomination, someone that's doing great things with racquetball in your area, whether it's indoor, outdoor, please send us their information. You can email it to Connor, and we will get that to the committee, and then we vote on the real racquetball champion. So this real racquetball champion I've known for a couple years, and he was very instrumental in the World Games, and he's instrumental in Alabama racquetball. So if we can welcome on Bob Frazier, the president of the Alabama Racquetball Association. There's Bob. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's good to see you again, Bob.
Hey, Connor. How's it going?
I feel like we just spent a month together almost last month.
Exactly.
Well, congratulations, Bob,
Yeah,
being this month's Real Racquetball champion. We really appreciate all the work you do. Some of the pictures on the screen are ones of Bob working at the World Games. Some of the volunteers he had at the World Games. It was a monumental task, and most of the work was before the games even started. So, Bob, tell everybody just a little bit about kind of how that came about and how you got involved with the World Games and some of the tasks. It would take an hour to describe everything you did. So give them kind of a Cliff's Notes version of all the work you did.
Yeah. So it started back in 2014 when USAR asked me to be the ambassador of racquetball and interact with the Birmingham World Game Committee, which I did. Met with the World Game selection where they were down selecting cities, kind of pumped up racquetball as one of the events, got them interested in different venues in Birmingham. And then once that was accepted in 2015 and it was announced, I started working with your teams to try to coordinate getting the glass court from Minneapolis to Birmingham. No small feat, but trying to establish a world class event on the world class stage, so to speak. So the whole idea was to promote and market racquetball, to reach out to people who, one, either don't know what it's like, or two, don't remember what it was like to be on the court, kind of get them back per viewing, good streaming, good television, good viewing of good competition. And I'll tell you what, competition was phenomenal. I almost lost my breath when Paola twisted her ankle or rolled her ankle. But you know what? Her skill and determination to get back on the court and not only finish the match, but win the match.
Right.
I mean, just phenomenal. And I'll tell you, volunteering. People miss out by not volunteering.
Right.
I had a front stage seat through the whole event to watch every match, men and women's, throughout the whole thing. There was a little work and sweat involved, but I'll tell you what, I couldn't have paid enough for that seat. So I was lucky and blessed. I had a good team of volunteers, starting with helping Connor with on the 2nd of July, starting to build the glass court. It's funny, the only guy that got hurt is the safety guy. But it was a great opportunity for people to see how much effort it takes to put that thing together. Yeah. And then to see the end product, right? I had a good team of volunteers. And I'll tell you, it really started on the front end because we had Cheryl Kirk, we had Morrow from IRT, or IRF, excuse me. Yeah. We had Dean Scheer, and the 4 of us kind of, along with Renee, started crafting, how we can make this work on the world stage, what it was going to take to bring in to support the event, to support the players, to support the volunteers. And then a great team of volunteers, Kay McCarthy, Cindy Tillsbury, Destry Everhard, Bill Lawrence, John Sanders, David Grays, the president of Mississippi, came over and helped out. Right. So, I mean, we were busy the whole time, but I'll tell you, it was great.
Good.
And all the feedback I got from people that had viewed it, just outstanding. They thought that it was a great marketing opportunity. Now, I understand the glitches with, having broadcast rights and things of that nature, but you know what? It still got out there. People saw it. And the only reason I know that is people were writing me texts and notes saying they saw me sweeping the court. So, I gotta say, people are missing an opportunity. So, you start with, we think about what can we do to make racquetball better?
Right.
Volunteer at your state level, volunteer at the national level. You got the U.S. Open coming up. Yeah. People can volunteer and support. And if you can't volunteer, at least consider donating to Team USA, right?
Right.
Get our players to where they need to be so that we can showcase the sport and the right opportunities with the right players. So, subject to your questions, whatever you'd like to talk about, anybody knows me knows I'll talk racquetball.
Well, you're also the president of the Alabama Racquetball Association. So tell us a little bit about how long you've been doing that and some of the activities that you've got going on in Alabama.
So, wow. I think it's 12 years now, going on 12 years as the state director. Been on the board a little longer than that. I took over after Bud and Natalie Crockett, who took over from Jim Gardner. He was going to be one of my volunteers at the World Game, but his wife came down with an illness, so wasn't able to participate. But we've tried to do many different things within the state, and of course, now we're being compressed in because we're losing venues.
Yeah.
So I lost a local club here that I've been the pseudo club pro for the last 24 years. They closed down, sold the building. We lost another facility down in Coleman. So now to find a place with 4 courts, I'm down to like 3 venues. Wow. University of South Alabama, UAB, which was the host for the World Games. And University of Alabama itself, which has 7 courts. So it's kind of hard to juggle everything around. I'm trying to get the state laid on. Of course, I'm still dealing with UAB over, they're still recouping and recovering from the World Games.
Right. So
we haven't got anything on the board, but locally we're bringing old players back in. Don't ask me how. Either they saw the event on the World Games or, we've been talking it up really good. But recently we brought some old racquetball players back onto the court. my little time on TV and working the World Games has interested a couple juniors here locally that want to get lessons. So we're starting to do that in my spare time when I'm not traveling. But yeah, so that's what we're doing, you know. And of course, when we do the state, we comp the juniors for their annual fee, and we try to offset the entry fee as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about where we're at right now. And of course, we'll be looking for a new board this year.
Sure. Well, if someone's looking to get a hold of you, or Alabama has a question about Alabama racquetball, what's the best way for someone to reach out and get a hold of you?
So there's a couple different ways. You can go through the USAR site, and there's an Alabama link in there, I believe. We also have the Alabama Racquetball website, which is up and live and just got updated by JT, as well as we have a Facebook page. We also have a page called Promoting Racquetball in Alabama. And matter of fact, that's how some of the people that wanted lessons reached out to me. The whole time building the court and during the tournament, I was posting World Game, advertisements and trying to get ticket sales up. People saw that and actually responded, and that's how I got some of these juniors interested in playing.
Great.
That's great. Yeah, and it looks like those racquetball Alabama racquetball pages just got posted in the chat if anybody's interested.
Good. I want to give everybody a chance to reach out if they've got a question in Alabama. And we know you've done a lot of work in that area. So when the nomination came in for you as the real racquetball champion, I don't think it took the group more than 5 minutes to look at it, and everybody raised their hand and said, absolutely, Bob is a real racquetball champion. So we really appreciate all the work you do. And I know you've been traveling a lot for work, but if you kind of get settled in, hopefully we'll get to see you at the U.S. Open. I know you mentioned you were juggling some trips, so hopefully we get to see you there. And if so, we'll get together and have a meal or something. Get a beer.
All right. If not, definitely national singles or doubles.
There you go.
Good.
All right. Well, Bob, we're going to let you go. Appreciate your time coming on to the show. And again, congratulations. And hopefully we get to run into you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob. Congratulations, man.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate the honor.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
All right. Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, Bob really is kind of a powerhouse in Alabama. It's awesome. I mean, anything that touches Alabama racquetball, Bob's got his hand on.
Yeah. I know you got to spend a lot of time with him building the court and his volunteers, and he brought on some pretty strong people to help build the court. It would not have been possible without his help.
No, he was definitely key in the World Games.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, he did everything. I mean, he was on the court sweeping and cleaning and organizing and wiping the glass. Bob's not just a supervisor. He jumped in and got stuff done.
Yeah, he did such. He was fantastic volunteering there too, and the team he had on site was amazing. They did such a good job.
That's neat. All right. Well, our next guest, I think everybody will know, and I believe she was having some video problems, so we may just get audio. But the next topic we want to talk about is the 21st World Championships in San Luis Potosí, Mexico. So if we can welcome on Rhonda Rajsich.
How you guys doing?
Yeah,
Rhonda, how are you?
I'm great.
Yeah,
Good.
Good to hear from you.
Yeah, you too.
So the question is, you leave in 2 days. Is that correct?
Correct.
Wednesday for Mexico, and wanted to get a chance to tell everybody that's watching kind of what experience it is, because I know you travel for many years going to international competitions and LPRT competitions and all over the world. The kind of what it takes to get ready to do that. It's got to be different than just driving across town to play at a local tournament. It's got to be a little different to pack everything you need to go to a different country, get set up in a hotel, and then compete for Team USA. Tell everybody kind of what that means or what that is.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. So I would say the biggest the biggest difference with these kind of tournaments, these international events, Worlds and Pan Ams and such, is the duration. You're not just packing for 3 or 4 days of play and, a handful of matches, but you're packing for, all kinds of eventualities. Most of the time I have played singles and doubles, so I've got to pack, two completely different sets of outfits and make sure I have enough for, all the rounds that we might have. And, I've been to some tournaments where, it was definitely not okay to drink the water or eat the food outside of the hotel. So, I mean, there was tournaments where, I mean, snacks, you need snacks no matter where you go, really. We're athletes. We're constantly, we're furnaces. We're constantly burning fuel. Our metabolisms are through the roof. But, in some countries, it's happened a handful of times where, you've also got to have almost an entire suitcase full of just snacks. In particular, I remember one where there was probably, I don't know, 40 packets of oatmeal for a 2-week trip, including even ramen noodles, so that you can just add something too quickly because it's going to be slim pickings around the area where our hotel was, or it was unsafe, or it was not recommended, sanitation wise and whatnot. So you've got to be not just aware of what you need for the courts, if they're going to be humid or concrete or panel or what have you, but you got to be aware of the climate, the area, what's available, what's not available, how many clothes you need to bring, are we going to be able to do laundry or not? I mean, these are all things that it's the kind of forethought that you don't necessarily always have to have going to even a pro stop, depending on where it is. And the pro stops aren't 2 weeks long either. So it takes a lot of extra. You got to make sure your chargers have the right adapter. So just so many things. Bugs can be an issue. I remember one country in particular there was like a drain in the bathroom, like just in the middle of the floor. And there was this horrible odor coming from it. So we learned that we need to take a roll of tape to put over a smelly drain if needed. I mean, the experiences you have and the list that just gets longer and longer with each one, you just got to kind of be prepared. Bug spray, sunscreen, sunglasses, all the things that you don't necessarily need to think about when you're just going to a pro stop. So it is different. The duration of the tournament is different. And, also being in another country for that long and trying to stay focused and compete for that long, you also got to find a way to make sure you don't get bored. I mean, you don't want to go out and be too touristy and spend energy you need, to whoop up on your opponents. But you got to find a way to make sure that your mind and body stay sharp and ready for battle every day, and not get caught up in the clubitis, or not getting out of the hotel enough, or maybe getting out of the hotel too much. You've got to know your own balance, and that's different for everybody. Knowing your balance of what you need to play at your best each day that you're called upon to do so, because you're not just representing yourself, you're representing Team USA. And it's such a tremendous honor to wear red, white, and blue. And it's such a tremendous honor to, represent, you're not just yourself. And that's another thing that's really different about these international competitions is, as professionals on the tour, we spend 99% of the year at each other's throats. I mean, we'll be best friends off the court, but we want to annihilate each other when we're battling against each other in these pro stops or at nationals. But when you make the team and you now have that team behind you, where you as a group have one common goal, it's a really special feeling. And especially since racquetball is such a, for lack of a better generalization, it's a very individual sport. As a basketball player, I can tell you that it's a very different sensation from a team sport to an individual sport, which is one of the things I love about racquetball. But at the same time, I have caught myself missing that team unity, that team camaraderie, that team vibe where, you're all sharing a common energy and a common goal. And this is that opportunity where we all get to experience that. And it's weird. You can literally play a pro stop one weekend as the LPRT just did in Mexico. And now, how many of us are going to be in Mexico in another city, and now we're going to be on a team cheering for each other when we were trying to cut each other's throats, a few days ago. So it's that kind of, it is a different mindset, and I'm living proof that it does bolster you when you know that you have that team behind you. Like, you know that no matter who you play, when you play, or what the outcome is, you actually have a team, a literal team of people behind, wearing the same colors, wearing the same uniform, chasing the same goal you are, and they're there specifically to support you while you do that. And it just doesn't happen very often for me, so maybe that's why I absorb it a little bit more. But it's a really incredible feeling. Not to mention, and I don't mean to ramble here, but being able to make the U.S. team is such an achievement in itself. I mean, the competition is so stiff. I mean, knowing how much better it's getting every year, and how much harder it's getting every year, just to qualify, and then to qualify in that top echelon where you're actually the ones traveling. I mean, it's that you're amongst the best that deserve to be there, and it's knowing that that's the team that has your back too, and knowing that you want to be that good teammate that has their back as well. That's what makes this type of experience so much different than just going to a local tournament or even a pro stop, or something where that team energy just isn't there. This is a completely different monster. And I think that the whole, what's the phrase, the whole thing is stronger than each of its parts. The sum of the whole is stronger than each of its individual parts. That's definitely I think we as a group especially exemplified that in Guatemala in December. So we're looking forward to carrying that forward.
And the team is really strong. You talked a lot about the team, but I would think you'd also feel something from in like a pro stop or a normal tournament. All the fans and everybody watching and everybody around the country, they all kind of have their player that they like to root for in those. With this, the entire country is behind the entire team.
Right. And I mean, everything is energy. It really is.
Right. And
when you know that you can count on, that vibe going across continents to supply you with all the good juice you need going forward. It is a very powerful feeling. Like you said, that when the whole country gets behind the whole team, there's a whole different, that unity is, it doesn't happen anywhere else. It doesn't happen through any other setting in the sport.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention too, Rhonda, I mean, this year you're defending the title. So
right.
I mean, what's that like, especially talking to, some of the different dynamics of the team that you said, different countries, you're all at each other's throats, but then all of a sudden, not only are you competing together, but I mean, you're defending championships. How does that feel?
So I will say that it's a little bit different this year because Worlds is typically every 2 years. And I know that our Guatemala Worlds in December that was just held last year in 21 was supposed to be in 20. So having it right now, this year in 22 is basically getting us back on schedule. However, because we don't have that 2-year gap, this victory, especially with the genetic makeup of this particular team, I think that that accomplishment is still very, very fresh in our minds, and it doesn't seem like 2 years ago because it wasn't. That victory hasn't worn off. That the way we came together as a team and the battles we fought through individually and together, to make that happen in so many ways, and on and off the court, really. To come away with what we did in Guatemala just 9 months ago, it's a very different sensation to walk in as the defending champs when it was just that recent.
Right.
I think the fact that the makeup of this team is so similar to that team, I think that's I don't feel like that puts more pressure on us. I feel like that's a strength that we have, knowing that we collectively have been to battle together and recently, and we've shown what we're capable of, and we want to show that again. We want to have each other's backs again. We want to play our hardest for and with each other again. So in a way, I don't think that it's I don't see it as a negative. I see it as a positive that it is still fresh in our minds. Now, that said, it's also still fresh in the minds of our opponents, and I'm sure that they would love to have something to say about it. So, knowing that we've got that target, like that's a badge of honor, not something that we should, cower from whatsoever. I think that that's something that we should wear proudly, and we should do our best to show why we have that target on our back now, and hopefully succeed in a way that puts that target on our back, at the end of these couple of weeks. Let's do it again.
That's amazing. I love that.
That is incredible. And I know everybody that plays racquetball for the most part just dreams of that. It's much like, the basketball player, the kid playing baseball wants to hit a home run in the World Series and or be on Team USA and go win a world championship. So hearing you describe it and talk about the team and the makeup of the team and all that, that all of the fans are all in. They will all be watching and cheering and screaming. And
right.
I will be in my office watching it on my computer, screaming at the screen.
And you know what, that stuff does matter. Like it does matter to us. We do notice and we do appreciate it. And it definitely does make a difference when we know that we're not out there alone. So thank you. And thank all of you who are listening that, have supported and continue to support Team USA, because, we literally and figuratively could not do this without you. Not energetically, not financially, not just, mental fortitude, knowing that we represent an entire country of people who love racquetball, and we're the ones who get to go and represent all of you in these kind of events. So thank you for being such a crucial and critical and important part of the machine that allows us to be the world champions that we can achieve.
That's great. Well, I can't think of, a better team to have, representing us. I think everybody who's going is such a great representation of what we really embody as a sport. I love that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And it really is what makes me the most proud about USA Racquetball. I mean, there are so many things that we've got to do, and we've got a lot of work to do, but being a part of helping the team come together and go to world championships and compete, to me, that's really what it's about. I love that aspect of it, that we just get to be a small part of that. That's neat. So we really appreciate all the work you put in and all the work that you and all the athletes do to get to the level that you do and then compete representing Team USA.
Thank you.
And you mentioned it, and I think that's an absolute perfect segue into something else we want to chat about, and that's the Team USA Challenge.
Right.
That, like you said, we can't do this without the help of all of our fans, all of the membership, those that are members of USA Racquetball, those that are just members of the racquetball family that support Team USA. And again, this year, and we've got the challenge going on, and we have a fantastic group of benefactors. And I'm going to read their names real quick. Shabarnoff, Rick Betts, Cheryl Kirk, Newen, Vinny Leo with Voodoo Brewing Company, Stuart Solomon, Cindy Tilbury, Mike Lippett on behalf of Reaching Your Dream Foundation, are all benefactors of their Team USA Challenge. And in the past, we've always had a goal of about $25,000 to raise for Team USA. With all of the challenges of COVID and being short of cash to start with, our goal for this year was $50,000 so that we could get the team to the World Games, the World Championships, and the juniors going to the World Championships. So our Team USA supports the adults and the juniors. So everybody that donates $100 or more, that matching money that all those benefactors have committed will be matched. So if you donate $100, it's as if you've given $200. If you donate $1,000, it's as if you've given $2,000 to reach that goal of $50,000. And Rhonda, I just wanted to be able to tell you that in that challenge, we're almost halfway there. The benefactors and the money donated so far, we're almost $25,000. So it's incredible the support that we're getting when you contact the benefactors or when we ask people to help donate to get the team to these championships. They all come together to do that. It's amazing. Yeah,
it is really incredible, and I mean, I think that just shows, the dedication to the sport and the camaraderie and the support of the people who play this game. I mean, let's be real. None of us are doing it. I'm not a professional racquetball player because I make $1 million a year playing racquetball. Right. We do it for love of the game, and that's the same reason that these incredibly generous benefactors care enough to facilitate this Olympic dream and Team USA and all of us who literally put our blood, sweat, and tears out there every single time, trying to make sure that we represent USA the best we possibly can. And on that note, as far as the donations, I couldn't help but recall a comedian, a female comedian, who was discussing, she went shopping and found this dress for $350, and it was actually half off, and it was $350. So she comes home with her new dress and shows it off to her husband, and he's like, "Oh my God, how much you pay for that?" She goes, "Only $350. He's like, $350? She's like, "Yeah, isn't that exciting?" He's like, "No, it's $350. And she goes, "But it was half off, so it was only $350, right?" Two totally different perspectives, but that's kind of what the challenge made me think of, because, like you said, if you donate $100, it's as if you donated $200. So if you think about it, any donation you can make in any amount, especially $100 and up, if it's qualifies for the matching donation, you're getting it for only, you're getting 50,000 for only 25,000. So if there's any incentive perspective wise for someone to, pony up and donate because they know that it's going to get matched, I mean, we're going to reach that goal even faster. So it's, every penny is greatly appreciated because it does make a difference.
It is. And everything's so expensive right now that the flights for the team to get there, and the coach and the coaches and the trainers, it's expensive. So we really appreciate everybody's help to reach our goal, that will make sure that we get all the teams. And we don't want to ever look at sending a smaller team because we can't afford to send all of them. So we really appreciate everybody's help. Thank you so much for donating. I know that there's another possibility in there, that we also have heard several people that have donated through their company, and their company will match their donation. So they donate $100, their company donates $100, which is a $200 total donation to USA Racquetball. So then the matching money comes in, and their $100 donation turns into a $400 donation. Mm-hmm. And we love companies that do that. So if you're not sure, check with your company, see if they match donations to nonprofit organizations. And all of the money donated to USA Racquetball is nonprofit. We're a 501c3, so check with your tax advisor and see what kind of benefits you can gain from that.
Yeah, and so Rhonda, to end this real quick, we got a couple comments on it. Can you give us a little 30-second teaser on the book?
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, I'm sure most people are already familiar with the attack that I went through in 2008, and literally to this day still having medical issues from that are going to require more surgeries, most likely, unfortunately. But the book is a little bit less about that. I mean, obviously that's going to be included because it is a big chunk of what has allowed me to have this platform to speak from in speaking about things that I have learned about myself, about life, about human nature in general, and certainly perspective, to be where I'm at this moment with that happening in the event that in the way that it did, because that was never a tragedy. That was never a life altering event. It's just something that happened in my life, and I have been able to build upon it. And I'm actually grateful for it. I know that sounds a little twisted, but I am actually grateful for it. The purpose of the book is to certainly include that, but to give actually more of a backstory that's it's not the only life and death situation that I've been in. There's a childhood history there, probably more than one instance that I shouldn't have survived. There's probably been another instance or two since then that I probably should not have survived. And that's not reckless behavior. For example, I was born with a kidney issue that went undiagnosed. I had a fever of 108, had convulsions, and went into the hospital, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. So I'll go a little into that. A little into a car accident I was in with my mother when I was about 6 or 7 years old. Stuff like that. Just, the resilience that gets touched upon when, I address the attack part of my life from 2008. It wasn't just that. That resilience is something that has been building nearly since birth. So there's a build up to that crescendo. And then the way that, like I said, it was never a tragedy. It's just something that happened. It didn't change my life. It just gave me so many gifts that I carry with me every day through the rest of my life, where I've been able to continue to do what I love, which includes playing racquetball. So, and then it also carries into, what my new normal looks like because of it. I mean, we're all talking about this new normal now because of COVID. The entire world is dealing with new normals, even now with variants, and then law changes, and then requirements, and more vaccines. And I mean, everyone has some version of a new normal that we're all, I think, constantly adjusting to. And I've certainly been dealing with that myself since 2008 for, the obvious reasons. So the book is just to give a little bit more of a backstory and a little bit more detailed of here's what's been happening since then. And, maybe a little teaser as to everything that I'm looking forward to in my future, even within this new normal that I've, been learning and growing through the whole time.
That's cool. I love that. Well, I can't wait to read it. I'm sure Mike feels the same way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And when you get completed with it or almost done with it, please let us know. We would love to have you on to talk a little bit about it and give everybody a chance to purchase the book and read more about your story, because it's just what Lily you've just said is going to intrigue a lot of people. You're going to inspire a lot of people with it.
Thank you. The inspiration is certainly the purpose.
Good.
Well, we really appreciate having you on, Rhonda. It's always great to talk to you and hear from you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I always love when I get the invite.
Yeah. Well, and best of luck in traveling and competing. We look forward to hearing all of the great adventures when you return, and we hope to see some pictures similar to the ones I saw last time when I called after you guys were celebrating.
Yeah.
So we
we'll make
will
sure to upload those as soon as they come out.
we will look for some more of that and some more celebration in a week or two. All right.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right.
Good luck.
Awesome. Thank you
Rhonda.
guys. Appreciate it.
Bye, Rhonda.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that was a cool thing. I like that. I'm excited. We'll read the book. She's got a cool story.
Oh, absolutely. And just what an absolute treasure to represent USA for USA Racquetball and for the entire racquetball community. She's been a part of it for so many years and represents it in such class and veracity in her competition that it's we're just proud to have her be a part of our team.
Yeah, agree.
So, really neat. And we touched a little bit on, before we jump into the U.S. Open questions, we're going to the three-wall ball in Las Vegas, October 26th through the 30th. As Rhonda said, she's anticipating to go and play. I want to throw it up again, make sure everybody's keeping that on their calendar. It's a terrific event to go spend a few days outside celebrating with the racquetball community. So if you haven't signed up yet, sign up. The hotels Mike Holder does a phenomenal job negotiating hotel rates. It's right across the strip from where the court's set up. So jump in and sign up, everybody. That's a neat event to go see. If you haven't been, put it on your list. Go visit it.
I like that one. I'm excited to go again this year. Yeah,
same here. It's just always it's such a relaxing atmosphere to just go hang out, be out in the sun. They do a great job. Everybody there works so hard. He has a full team of people helping run that event and make it work. So it's a neat event. Hopefully everybody goes. Someone just threw a comment in the comment section that it's been out for a little bit now. Everybody's probably seen it, that Kane Waselinchuk and Rocky are pairing up to play doubles.
Sure.
That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It'll be interesting. It's always interesting to see how great players mesh together.
Right.
Some just do it, and it seems like it's just natural. Others struggle with it because they're so used to competing and getting every ball.
Right.
You've got to get to every ball. Well, in doubles, it doesn't work that way. You've got to share the court and make sure you're covering your space. So those two are such phenomenal professionals that I think they'll mesh pretty well. It'll be fun to see. So, all right. Well, let's jump in and chat just a little bit about the U.S. Open. We're taking anybody's got questions, please type them in the comments. Connor and I, as I mentioned when we first opened up, we're spending the majority of our time working on details, and there are 1,000 of them to work out for the Open, with changing the venue, changing a lot of the sponsorship information has changed. COVID just changed everything, but we are working through those, and you're going to see a phenomenal U.S. Open. Venue's beautiful, hotels are beautiful. Racquetball is going to be high level on both of the show courts. One of them's going to feature mainly LPRT, the other will be IRT. And the bleacher seating system that's been designed. I know you're working hard with the fire marshals to get the approvals. We can't really finalize it until we've got the approvals on it, but I think we'll both agree that we're close enough that we can talk a little bit about what we have proposed and coming.
Yeah, so I can jump into it too, since most of the details are kind of at the forefront of my head right now. But yeah, the University of Minnesota is beautiful. I've been out there, 6 to 8 times already this year, a little bit last year too. So they'll have the 12 courts, which is really cool. It'll be more courts than we were able to do in the past at the Target Center. So more amateur matches will be over there, which will be, pretty easy access to go watch the pro matches for those of you who buy, ticket packages and stuff like that. The hospitality room is actually going to be kind of the same walk as it was at the Target Center for hospitality in the VIP room in the Athlete Village. The Athlete Village, mind you, is right next to it, and that won't be the case this year. But it's a room just a little bit up the stairs down the hallway. We'll have a hospitality room this year. We're going to have hospitality for everybody. Before at the main venue, it was only for gold boxes and the gold lounge. And then there wasn't hospitality provided. So we'll do hospitality for everyone at the university and also at Fridley, the Lifetime Fitness over at Fridley. So that's pretty exciting. But the show court situation is really cool. We have a benefit of having kind of 2 sidewall glass courts. It'll be, for the most part, the first day or so, it'll be an IRT on one side, the LPRT pro players on the other side, and then the rest of the matches, the pros will play 6 to 4 courts, and then they kind of whittle down from there until by like day 3, everybody will be on one show court, and that show court will have kind of a breakout of seating and of gold boxes and gold seats. That's been really the biggest struggle is, with a new venue, we don't really get the benefit of all of the reputation we've had years past, new fire marshal approvals, new venue designs, new venue contracts, the venue contracts with all of the stuff we're bringing in. Target Center had the benefit of, Target Center Lifetime had the benefit of, we knew what we were doing for 11 years. Right. And so this one's a little bit different in the sense that, everything just has to be kind of refreshed. And anybody who's ever worked with fire marshals knows that they tend to be a little bit difficult sometimes, but it's nothing I'm not normally used to. It's just one of those things that, this is something that took a long time to contract. And before we contracted, we really wanted to work on these layouts. But for the most part, the bleacher seating is going to be pretty straightforward. I think in total, I'm projecting about 250 spectator seating. That'll whittle down a little bit towards the final days in order to make room for some of those gold boxes, the gold box spaces and some of the gold seating. We're going to have both of those this year, and between depending on what I can squeeze in and depending on what fire code lets me do and what the venue lets me do, we should be able to have anywhere from like 25 to 30 gold seats or gold boxes, and then some VIP seats there too. That'll be pretty solid viewing for everybody. There's not really confidential, but depending on what the fire marshal lets me do, there'll be back wall seating too. It might look more kind of like a tunnel, so we'll see kind of how that goes. But we're not 100% set on gold box seating or gold box seating pricing, or gold seats pricing. It'll be a little bit less than it was last year just due to the lack of viewing like we had with our own glass court. But all the gold box members have been emailed today letting them know that we're coming out with information by the end of the week, and we'll have pricing and seating and stuff like that for everything. But the ticket packages are already for sale. Right. If you go to the website. I'm trying to find the exact pricing. Do you know off the top of your head, Mike?
Yeah, for anyone that's playing in the U.S. Open, it's $99 for the whole package, and we're not selling session packages. We're just selling you buy a ticket, you can watch all the matches you want to watch.
Yeah.
And it gives you access to both courts. If you're not playing in the U.S. Open, it's $139.
Yeah.
And you can buy a ticket for the entire U.S. Open to watch the pros. Again, the ticket's good for either court, and the courts are side by side. And one of the interesting aspects that we solved the question for within the last time we were in Minneapolis was to have the gold boxes around one court. Then we're going to have the first 2 rows of bleachers on the second court, all reserved for VIP, so they can have access to both courts also. The table will be on one court, and then they'll have a seat on the second court that will be reserved for them. So when they buy a gold box, they're going to have access to either court and be able to watch whichever match they want to watch. So that'll be a lot of fun.
And that'll be really mostly usable for like those first couple days, where both of those courts are being used. But as anybody who's been to the U.S. Open knows that, towards the end, especially quarters, semis, and finals, most everybody plays on the broadcast court, that one court over to the side. And that that court will have all the bells and whistles. We'll have a production company coming in. We'll have the spotlights, the lights, and the music. It'll have some raised seating for the bleachers. So it'll look pretty solid. And like I said, once I get finalization on there, it's a lot of hoops to jump through. But in addition to that, we had a couple questions on the VIP sections, and so absolutely, gold boxes and gold seats, get you into the VIP section. We'll have I've already signed an alcohol bio deal with the university, so we'll be able to have the same sort of feel as we did last year. But with the hospitality difference, being that standard hospitality will be for everybody, but we will have a separate room for gold pass holders and the pros that are able to, go into a separate area. We'll have some nicer furniture in there. There'll be a TV or 2 in there that'll be streaming matches. We'll have some, just some nicer stuff for the VIP, some desserts. And then some of the Coca-Cola coolers and stuff in there as well. And we'll have I have a whole team for our hospitality that had to be kind of revamped. A lot of the organizing committee from last year had retired, so a lot of the faces you'll see this year are going to be different. But I'm pretty confident in that being a good experience. And then of course right across the hall will be the Athlete Village, so we'll have the same sort of feel over there. It's a beautiful room. It's called the Beacon Room at the University of Minnesota. Awesome views, floor to ceiling windows. We'll have the tournament desk in there. And then, some of the vendors that you all are familiar with are guaranteed coming. So that'll be exciting to see, that kind of camaraderie that we saw last year, just, where everybody comes in and hangs out. And then they can go down and watch the matches. And like I said, one of my favorite parts is that when we kind of whittle down to the pro matches in that court, we'll still have, 11 courts to play with, for amateur matches. So there'll be a lot of people that are kind of at the University of Minnesota. Obviously, some matches will still be over at University of Fridley, and John Olson, the president of Minnesota Racquetball, will be managing a lot of the operations over there. So that should feel identical over at Fridley. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and one of we had a lot of questions about hospitality, what that meant and who it was for and all those type of things, because it wasn't always a big emphasis in the U.S. Open for there to be hospitality for the amateurs. Our goal when we started working on this was to provide hospitality for the amateurs at both venues, and you'll have access to food, lunch, dinner, just like you do at a normal national championship. So anyone that's a player will have full access to that. And I saw a question about the seating. If I buy a ticket, do I guarantee a seat? Well, absolutely. You buy a ticket, we're not going to sell more tickets than we have seats for. So if you buy a ticket, you got it. You just that's the whole purpose. We don't want anybody disappointed to buy a ticket and then not be able to go in and watch the matches.
Yeah.
So we're pushing the bleachers in, and we think we're going to have plenty of seating for everybody. So and when you buy a ticket, much like the VIP tickets, you'll be able to sit in front of either court. You can pick which court you want to sit in front of, and a lot of it you'll be able to see what's going on both courts from your seat.
Yeah.
The courts are right next to each other. So
yeah, especially the first 2 days, the our security green zone that I'll have set up that's checking passes
Right.
will be set up for both of those courts. So if you buy those ticket packages for the first couple of days, you'll be able to sit on either court, depending on where you can fit. And then towards the third, fourth, and fifth day, our security green zone adjusts a little bit
Right.
over to block off that main court, mostly to increase, partially to help suffice the fire marshal, who tends to be a little bit more upset recently than he should be, but also to add to the experience. The experience of kind of that enclosed area with the lights, camera action is going to be really important.
Yeah, and I think everybody's going to really like it once you get there and see the work that's been done and what's being done. Everybody's really going to like it, and it's going to have the feel. It's not the same. Nobody's making the claim that this is the same as having the glass court set up.
Yeah, of course not.
We are just as disappointed about that as anybody would be, probably more so, because I've been vacationing in Minneapolis and Memphis for many, many years. It was my vacation. I just took a week off and went and sat and watched racquetball on the big glass court. It was phenomenal. So our absolute goal is, and we are working very hard to make sure that next year that's set up. But we've got to have a U.S. Open. We need to name a U.S. Open champion in all of the many divisions. So if you've ever wanted to come and compete at a U.S. Open that's more quaint, we're only using 2 clubs. Both clubs have 12 courts each, so we got 24 courts to play on. You might be playing right next to the show court at the university.
Yeah.
Walk out the court and share a towel with, Rocky or somebody else just at the U.S. Open. You don't get that chance a lot of times. So this will be a unique experience that we hope everybody comes out and enjoys. For the amateurs, I think it's going to be a better experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that, like I say, we are as dedicated to get that glass court set back up as fast as possible as anybody's ever been. But this year, this is what we're up against, and we're going to make it be a successful U.S. Open.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Like I said, the good questions. I appreciate it.
Yep. Really appreciate everybody's question. If you've got any other questions, don't ever hesitate. Connor's email address is cshane@usaracquetball.com. Mine is mwedel@usaracquetball.com. Send us an email. We are more than happy to answer any question. I probably spend, a couple hours a week easily on the phone with anybody that calls me and has a question. I will jump on the phone and chat with you about the U.S. Open and what we can do. Spoke with a really interested sponsor today that was just intrigued with the possibility, and I think it's going to be a new sponsor we've never had before. So we're excited about everything that's happening. The hotels we know are filling up. Connor, I don't know if you've got numbers on those, but the Graduate is a great place. And was it last week you were telling me that it's filling up quickly? There's a lot more hotels taken up than there are people signed up so far.
Yeah, so, yeah. It looks like people are booking their hotels early on. Depending on which hotel, we have those 3 on there right now. We've got, I think, almost 160 rooms with about 500 room nights already booked. So it looks like a good amount of people. And some of those blocks fill up quick, but ideally, that Graduate is walkable to the university. But, those of you who have been exposed to, that downtown Embassy is a beautiful hotel as well. So is the Hampton. It's only a 3-stop light rail ride right to the university, and it drops you off at the front door of the venue. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, which is really an interesting thing. We got a lot of questions about transportation, and the light rail system around there is really good. So you can get around the area pretty easily.
So cool.
Any other aspects, things that we're getting questions about?
No, none that I can think of. Do you want to? Besides our other national championships, the US Open, I think.
I think we put out a list of those. I know it's on the website, so we will leave that to, other than, national doubles is the one coming up right after the US Open.
Super excited. That's back in Tempe. Really excited to sign that one. We have that one secured for a couple more years with that downtown Graduate. actually,
Right.
which tends to be most people's favorite hotel. So I'm really excited for doubles.
Yeah,
So.
and that's neat because we haven't been there in a while. COVID kept us out of ASU for quite some time, so we are really excited about having a national doubles championship again and being able to go back to Tempe to do that. So,
cool.
Well, Connor, I think we've covered the gamut. We've kept everybody for an hour, which is a little longer than we normally like to keep everybody. So again, if you've got questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I see a comment from Roger Fleming in the comments section. Roger, safe travels. Roger is the trainer for Team USA. He'll be leaving very soon on his way to Mexico, and he's going to help them win another championship. So, Roger, I'm sad I'm not going to be able to go there. We know you'll do a great job and take care of the team. So thank you very much. Other than that,
thanks, Mike.
Connor, thank you so much for joining. This has been fun.
Yeah, all good, man. I appreciate you having me on, and we'll get Maurice on next time.
Well, I don't know. We may keep him worried a little bit. This has been fun.
All good. Well,
now we'll get Maurice back on next show. So everybody, next show is on Tuesday, September 6th. Mark your calendar. It's not on Monday. Monday is Labor Day. So we've moved the show to Tuesday, September the 6th. Mark it down. We will have new updates on the U.S. Open and a lot of other really fun topics. So please. And we're working on several really unique things. So I'm hoping we've got those done and we can announce those at the next show. So everybody, appreciate your tuning in. Please share the show. Get everybody else to watching it. Grab somebody, get them on a court, get them to play racquetball, teach them how to play. And if they're haven't come back to racquetball yet, but they used to play, just drag them on and make them play. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Connor, everyone, have a good night.